So, we got a new quest, the Final Dawn. This is a pretty long master level quest. The skill requirements are 66 thieving, 52 rune crafting, and 52 fletching. For the quest requirements, you're going to need Children of the Sun, Twilight's Promise, Perilous Moons, and the Heart of Darkness. This quest does provide 55,000 combat experience, but it's in the form of a lamp, so you can choose which stat you'd like to put it in. So it's 1 def pure safe. Now, for your inventory, you're going to need the Emissary Robes set. If you don't have it, don't worry. We're going to grab it along the way. Some melee weapons and armor for the combat portions of the quest, as well as some food and potions, such as a super combat, prayer potions, or super restores. There's going to be multiple places to bank throughout the quest, so don't feel the need to bring it all in one inventory. Just make sure that you have 4 empty inventory slots throughout the quest. For teleports, there's a couple fights throughout the quest, so make sure you have access to a rejuvenation pool or Ferox Enclave, or even a Narda teleport, so you can use the statue there to recover. So that would be either a home teleport, desert amulet, or dueling ring, whichever teleport works for you so you can recover your stats. You are also going to need 3 teleports to Civitas Illes Fortis. We're also going to use the Quetzal to get to Tal Teclin. And finally, you're going to need a teleport to the Twilight Temple. I'm going to use the Pendant of Aids. If you don't have that, you're going to have to run your way there. Other than that, just a teleport to go wherever you need to go after you're done with the quest. The quest starts at the Sif Palace, just north of the city teleport. Let's start by teleporting over there to Civitas Illes Fortis, and then running north from there. Enter the palace, run back to the throne room, and in there, you're going to talk to an NPC called Servius, the Teokin of Ralos, the funny-looking guy with the red face. Go through the dialogue and select the first option to start the quest. He expresses that he's glad that you've arrived here and that the queen is waiting for you upstairs. After you're done talking to him, a cutscene will start. Oh, that armor is super cool. If you hold spacebar, it'll skip through all the dialogue until the cutscene ends. The queen basically reprimands you for going along with the prince's plan against her orders, which ended up in his capture. You promise that you're going to rescue him and get him back, but the queen is very hesitant to trust you again. Servius ends up stepping in and vouching for you. The queen is hesitant for a moment, but ends up giving you the opportunity to prove yourself because both Servius and the prince have taken a liking to you. She sends you out to return to the emissaries at the Twilight Temple to gather as much information as you can. After the cutscene, you just need to make your way to the Twilight Temple. I'll be using the Pendant of Eights. The Twilight Temple is just located southeast of Salvager's Overlook. You can either teleport there with the Pendant of the Eights or run there from the Quetzal, located in the Quetzalcoatl Gorge. Again, we're going to use our Pendant of Eights to teleport directly there. Make your way there. And if you don't have the Emissary Robes, you can just walk into this temple right near the teleport. There's a chest inside. Open it up and you'll receive a pair of Emissary Robes. Now that you have your robes, make your way down this little mountain pass over to the temple. If you try to enter without the robes on, you'll be turned away, so all you need to do is equip your Emissary Robes. Once you walk in, a cutscene will start. Your character runs in and blends into the crowd of cultists. As a character stands on stage named Fight Metzli, amps up the crowd and begins her speech. She exclaims to the crowd that they are close to their goal and attaining something that she calls the Final Dawn. And even though some minor setbacks have occurred, the cultists shouldn't need to gossip in secret because they know the truth and that everything that they do points towards the end goal. She yells to bring out the prisoner, and when the prisoner is brought on stage, you see that it's the Prince Itzla Arkan. She tells the crowd that the rulers of this kingdom are powerless since they've captured the prince. The prince tries to shoot her down, but she tells him that he has the blood of Teokin and will be the key to unlocking the Final Dawn. The prince says if she wants his blood, that she can take it all, just so that he doesn't have to listen to her anymore. She spits back, saying that his anger only masks his fear, and tells the guards to take him away. She then finishes up her speech saying that it will soon be time to deliver Twilight's promise. It will soon be time for the final dawn. After the cutscene, your character will mention that they brought Itzla up from downstairs. Make your way to the back of the temple and you'll find a staircase headed down. Try to go down and the emissary will stop you, saying that she can't let you go down there without a passphrase. The passphrase is going to be Final Dawn. So it's going to be the fourth option and the second option. Once you're downstairs, run north until you come across a hallway on the east side of the room. Enter the hallway, and this will be a puzzle where you'll have to dodge the guards. If you get caught by the guards, they'll just send you to the beginning of the puzzle. Hide on this wall until the guard goes in the other direction, and then quickly run into the room to the north. Stay in the middle room until the guard's back is turned, and then continue to the east. Go through the door, and another cutscene will start. As your character enters the room, you state that there must be something useful around here, and go investigate for further information. The cultist leader enters the room in mid-conversation with a lady named Furia. Furia expresses concerns about the Queen sending forces to come get the prince. Metzli shuts this down, saying that the Queen would not put her son in danger. They go back and forth on which plan's making sense. Furia states that this plan seems risky, and Metzli assures her that whether this plan falls through, that they have many other options. After the cutscene, enter the room to the south. This is going to be another puzzle. The puzzle has to do with the painting on the wall. You need to get and complete the face of the sun. Enter the room to the south and search the bed, and you'll find a key. You are going to need to use this key to unlock the drawers just to the west. Apparently this might be random for some people, so it could be in these drawers or the drawers in the northern room that you were in during the cutscene. So check them both, and one of them should have the face of the sun. Our piece was in this drawer. Once you have the piece, exit the room and attach it to the painting. Select the first option to enter the passage. In the northern part of the room is a chest. Open it, and you'll have a lockpicking puzzle. For this puzzle, you'll have 8 attempts to identify the correct pin orientation. Looking at the left side of the board, you have the pins that you'll be moving up, and on the right side of the board is a puzzle key that'll show you whether you have the pins in the right spot or not. The best way to do this would be to move all the pins up at the same time until the key on the right shows that they are green. Then just move the ones that aren't green. Click confirm in the bottom right to test the current position of the pins and repeat. If one of the pins glow blue, this is indicating that one of the adjacent pins to the left or the right are going to be in that position. As you can see, the left side is a 3 and the right side is glowing blue as a 3. And then in the next slide, it just so happens that the same pin now glows blue. But since the left side is already in the correct placement, this means the placement to the right is going to be a 4. And with that being said, click whatever you want. Here's me going through it. I haven't done it in a while, so I end up remembering the strategy. And yeah, I'll see you when you get the puzzle done, bitch. Congratulations, you found a little scroll. Once you get the scroll from the chest, a cutscene will start, which will be the beginning of the first quest fight. Before you skip through the dialogue, pause a moment, and I'll explain his attack mechanics. His main attack will be a slam, which will be in a 3x3 square. He'll just do this over and over until he does a special attack. Strategy for this is just to attack, step back, step back. If he yells thief or traitor, he's going to do a charge attack, which just goes into a straight line. Just step out of the way. And that's it. Pretty easy. So let's get into the fight. The guard catches you, little bros you, and takes your scroll. It says that there is only one outcome for betraying the augur. After defeating the enforcer, he's going to drop the scroll, pick it up, and read the scroll. After reading the scroll, teleport to Civitas Illa Fortis to return to the Queen and tell her about your findings. You no longer need your Emissary Robe set, so you can equip your other melee gear. It's not going to be needed for the rest of the quest. The Queen is going to be located upstairs on the very top floor where you left her initially. Talk to her to report back all the information that you've gathered. You tell her that the prince is being held captive, but they moved him somewhere else, and you're not exactly sure where that is, but that they mentioned that he is the key to unlocking the final dawn, because of something having to do with him having Servius's blood. Servius speculates that they must be trying to trigger something that he calls the Gathering. The Queen butts in and tries to rope the conversation back towards finding her son, the prince, and asks you how you intend to find him. You say you gathered information of an emissary member who lives right here in Fortis and that you should capture him and interrogate him for further information. The Queen dispatches a captain and tells you to go meet her by the house. After the conversation, I'm going to go store my emissary robe sets back in my POH. Also, I'm going to restore my stats, and then I'll meet you back at Fortis. You can place your emissary robes in the magic wardrobe or throw them back in your bank, whatever you prefer. You could instead just teleport to Civitas Illa Fortis and we'll run to the bank there. Southwest, towards the bank. This is the part of the quest where you're going to need some bones. There's going to be 2 cards located right outside of the bank. Kill one of them and pick up their bones. Do you have the bones? Run south of the bank and you'll find Captain Vibia on the southern side of that house. Talk to her, and in the dialogue, she's going to say that nobody's home and that we need to set up a trap so that you guys can capture the emissary. Just behind you guys on the southeastern side of the house is a window. Click on it and select the first option to force the window open. Enter the house by climbing through the window. Right-click on your bones and then use them on the guard dog to get him to stop attacking you. Afterwards, pet the dog, and you'll notice the collar reads Gus. That's going to be the combination to the door in this room. Click on the door and enter the combination. You open the door, talk to the captain, and go through the dialogue. She's going to say that we need to prepare to trap Emissary Janus, and that you're going to have to search the house for supplies. Click the second option, saying, I'll get searching. After the conversation, enter the kitchen, and you're going to find a knife on the table. Pick it up, then you're going to see a sack of potatoes on the ground just to the south. Pick that up as well and empty the sack so that you just have an empty sack in your inventory. Afterwards, go upstairs, and in the eastern bedroom, you're going to find a coin purse on the nightstand. Pick it up and empty the coins from the purse. Afterwards, go up the stairs to the top floor, and you're going to find a fern. Use the knife on the fern to get a branch. After you get the branch, use the empty coin purse on the pot of sand in the north side of the room to fill it up. Use the branch on the sand-filled coin purse to create a dubious makeshift blackjack. You now need to talk to the captain again, right-click the staircase, and select bottom floor. Talk to Captain Vibia to show her what you made. You'll hand her all the items, she'll approve, and the cutscene will start. After the cutscene's over, search for Bear Janus so that you can get a key. This will start dialogue between you and Captain Vibia. She'll basically say that the basement will work perfect for interrogation and that she'll get the queen. After the dialogue, this will start another cutscene. The forebearer addresses the queen, saying he'll never talk. He says he doesn't fear death and that it's something to be celebrated. The queen is a bit of a badass and tells him that he can celebrate his death, but first he's going to talk, and tells everybody to leave her alone with him. Some time passes. You guys enter the room. You ask what happened. She simply says, he talked. The queen takes you through the information that she gathered during the cutscene, basically confirming that the cultists are trying to trigger the gathering. They explain the gathering a little bit and say that the real importance about it is the location. They believe that this crypt houses a secret path to Mokhaiotl. Apparently the cultists have also been seeking help from the dwarves in Camp Torem, so you all agree to venture to Camp Torem to investigate further. After the dialogue, select the first option, confirming that the next step is to travel to Camp Torem to speak with the dwarves. Once you select yes, you'll all be transported to Camp Torem. The cutscene opens at the bridge entering the city of Camp Torem. Dialogue is a lot of diplomacy between the High Lord and the Queen. The Queen starts, stating that she has reason to believe that there are enemies of Varlamore operating in Camp Torem. The High Lord is astonished at this accusation and asks her to explain a little bit more of these enemies. The Queen gives a little bit of a background. The High Lord states that he couldn't imagine any enemies infiltrating the city, and further explains that there are only 4 dwarves who have the ability to grant access into the city, and tries to end the conversation saying that he will keep an eye out for any cultists. The Queen requests access, saying that they would like to look for the cultists themselves, but then the High Lord expresses that it would not look good if they allowed an entire human investigation to flood the city. Another dwarf speaks up, named Atala, who vouches for you for helping them during the Perilous Moons quest, and says that they should allow access to you to investigate the city. The High Lord eventually agrees and grants you access. Atala says that he's going to meet you at the suspected dwarven member's house in the market. The Queen tells you that she's going to return to the palace, and Servius says that he's going to join you just in case he's needed, and that his abilities would be better utilized here. The Queen eventually accepts, and you and Servius both agree to go meet Attila at the house. Run a little bit north, and you'll find Servius and Attila. Talk to either of them, and Attila will explain that he suspects one of the dwarfs named Teumo to be a prime suspect. After the dialogue, run northeast to the house just behind the bank. Behind the bank, enter the house, and you'll enter the home mid-conversation between Attila and the dwarf's wife, Galna. She states that Teumo will be home soon. After the conversation, talk to Servius, and he'll tell you that you should look around. Go upstairs to find a beer on the table, pick up the beer, and return downstairs. Use the beer on Galna, who will be very lightly hesitant to take the drink, but then will proceed to chug it. After that, go downstairs and prepare for a beer puzzle. I made a key that you can reference. I'm going to put it in the top right corner of the screen. Let's start by taking the beer off the barrel on the east side of the room. Open your inventory and drink the beer, and then place the empty beer glass on the barrel. Now, go to the cabinet on the western side wall, search it, and you'll find a selection of beers. Grab a beer, then the Dwarven Stout, which is the second option. Then go to the next page, which is going to be number 5, more options. Then select option 1, which is a Steam Forge brew. Now, search the cabinet one last time, go to the second page again, number 5, and then get a Wizard's Mind Bomb, number 3. Start by right-clicking the Steam Forge brew, which is the red one, and place it on the barrel right next to the cabinet in the southwest corner of the room. Next is the Dwarven Stout, which is the black beer, on the barrel just next to it on the southern wall. Now, for the normal beer, which is the yellow one, put it on the northern barrel. And lastly, the blue one, which is the Wizard Bomb, enter the southeastern room and put it in the barrel in there. If you did it correctly, a short animation will show that the fire goes out. After the animation, return to the main room and then inspect the fireplace. Select the first option to pull the lever. After you pull the lever, you'll hear a clicking sound and there will be a hole in the southern part of the room. Click to enter the hole. Once you walk through, this will trigger another short cutscene. You walk up and begin eavesdropping on a conversation between 2 members who were part of the delegation that visited Varrock during the Children of the Sun quest. These 2 twins, Ennius and Furia, believed to be the mortal incarnations of Ralos and Renewal. The suspected dwarf Teumo enters and they begin briefly discussing their plan. The twins plan to pay Teumo for his help, Teumo states that there's a slight issue, that he's going to need them to retrieve a keystone so he can open some magical doors within the temple. After a bit of arguing, the twins agree and they depart. After the cutscene, return back to the basement so you can tell Attila and Servius what you heard. Once you are back there and talk to them, you lightly report what you found. You tell Servius to report back to the queen and try to stop the twins from getting the keystone. Then Attila says he will round up some guards to arrest Teumo, while you set out to find the cultists in the Perilous Moons area. After you're done talking, go upstairs, go to the bank so that you can prepare for the next boss fight in this quest. Melee is going to be perfectly fine to fight this boss with. I would just say to bring maybe a super combat set, a prayer potion, and then a full inventory of food. Other than that, I'll see you once you're ready to enter the Perilous Moons dungeon. Alright, once you're done, let's head north to the Perilous Moons dungeon. Once you enter, you'll be talking to the Nagwa guardian of this dungeon. She tells you that the cultists are inside and that they have little regard for the dangers posed by the Moons of Peril. You tell her that they're after the keystone. She states that the icosahedron behind her is a form of keystone and that the cultists tried to tamper with it, but that she stopped them and shoot them away. She tells you that there's another keystone here. It's an earlier form of the icosahedron from when the dungeon was being built. Then she says that the Moons of Peril must remain her priority and that she cannot stop the cultists from trying to obtain it. You volunteer as tribute, saying that you will hunt them down and stop them. She then gives you a fragment of the icosahedron that will resonate with the other keystones so that you can go and find it. Don't do what I'm doing now. The location is going to be the same for everybody. If you click on the keystone, for whatever reason, it's going to take you all around through all of the dungeons, which is completely silly. I cannot wait for Alien Food's Unguided series, just to watch him run all the way around, just like I did. So from the main dungeon room, just enter the room to the southwest, which is the Red Blood Moon dungeon. Once you enter, run south to the most southern room. Once you enter, go up to this wall and click your keystone, and a portal will appear. Once you enter, the fight will start between two cultists, which one uses range and the other uses magic. To avoid damage, you'll need to pray flick between mage and range before they attack. They both have a special attack. The ranger, which is shown on the left, just shoots arrows in the air. You just gotta run and dodge them. And for the major, it spawns a safe spot and then shoots a water blast at you. You just gotta run to that safe spot and you're safe. I recommend killing the major first. It's a lot easier to dodge her attacks and you can get right back to damaging her. Other than that, it's nothing special. Just keep swapping prayers, kill one, then kill the other while dodging the special attacks. It's a portal, and there's going to be a little bit of dialogue just before the fight. You barge in and tell them that they're not going anywhere with that keystone. After a little banter, Furia commands the mage to teleport Metzli into the room. Metzli says that it's a shame that you're not on their side, but that it doesn't matter and the final dawn will come soon. Then, before she leaves, she commands the two emissaries to stay behind and kill you. It's time for you to kill them instead. Once the battle is over, speak to Attila, and you'll basically tell him that you weren't able to stop them in time. Attila will tell you that there's more bad news, that they searched the entire city and could not find Teumo. This means that the cultists have everything they need to enter the crypt. After this conversation is over, you now need to travel to Tal Teklin, teleport to Fortis, and make your way to the Quetzal. Select the furthest destination to the west, Tal Teklin. Once you arrive at Tal Teklin, There's a prayer altar in the center of town. We're going to use it to restore our prayer stats. And just to the east of the prayer altar is Servius. Talk to him. He's going to tell you that the crypt is under attack and that you should go over there and help defend the crypt from the cultists. Just north of here is a bank. If you're low on supplies, feel free to go there because we're going to have yet another combat sequence. But for me, since I have plenty of food, I'm just going to go there. So exit the town and go east. After exiting the town to the east, the temple is going to be located just southeast of that town. You're going to see some walls, some ruins, and once you enter the area, there's going to be some fighting between cultists and the guards. Keep running south to the dungeon sign and enter the dungeon. Once you enter, a small combat sequence will begin. You'll just have to protect the allies against the emissaries. There will be 6 waves in total. You just have to kill all of the emissaries in the wave and make sure that at least one Talani warrior is alive. I would say target the majors first. If you're pretty tanky, high level, attacking the emissaries will pull aggro towards you. So you could attack all the emissaries that join, and then you can, of course, tank the damage. Other than that, protect your allies, kill the cultists, and I'll see you when you're done. Once the fight is over, you'll shout that more enemies are coming. A mage will run in and teleport the group of main antagonists with the prince into the room, and they do the ritual to open the door and enter, leaving the prince behind. The queen tells the guards to bring him to safety and tend to his wounds, and then both the queen and yourself rush in after the enemies. It's time to prepare for the next fight. This one is definitely a little bit more complex than the other ones, but in all reality, it's not that bad. Let's just get a little familiarity with it. Throughout the entire fight, you're going to be praying melee. Every so often, Ennius will do a special attack which will turn off your prayers. All you have to do is turn them back on again. You'll be able to spot this when embers go around your character. The next random attack is going to be kind of like Soul Heretic in the Colosseum. When Ennius spawns rings around the room, just run to him. That's where the fire will not be. That'll be the safe spot. Then run back and attack him. The next random attack will be a line of sigils. Just step out of the way, because those are marking where he'll be damaging with a firewall. He will do this a couple times and then go back to standard melee attacks. Pretty easy to spot. You see the line and move out of the way. Lastly, once you get his health all the way down for the first time, he'll enter an enraged phase. He's going to regain a little bit of health, and in this phase, he's going to do the same attacks, but they're just going to be a little bit more potent. It's really not that much more difficult. All in all, this fight is very fun, and yeah, let's get into it. You enter to a platform, and both the twins are arguing that Metzli had abandoned them, leaving them behind. The brother Ennius says that she would never abandon them because they are her gods. Furia reveals that she never believed in this cultist nonsense. Furia says that she was basically trying to create a future for them. The queen asks what was worth betraying the kingdom. Furia claims that the queen betrayed them by opening up their kingdom to outsiders. Apparently, Metzli promised them the throne if they helped her out. The queen states that since the plan is ruined, that they should give up. Ennius refuses to give up, and the battle begins. Okay, well done. After killing him, a cutscene will start between you, the queen, and Captain Vibia. The prince barges in to help. The queen doesn't like the idea. She'd rather that he'd rest. He convinces her, and both you and the prince dive deeper to find Metzli. You're going to show up in a dungeon, run north to the little red sigil on the floor. It's going to teleport you up to this platform. Run to the blue sigil, which is a sigil of the moon. Then keep running to the west. There's going to be another red sigil. Step on it. It'll teleport you up. And then, of course, north to the other moon sigil, which will teleport you back down. There's one final red sigil. Step on it. You'll be teleported upward. And in the northeastern corner, there's going to be a rope. Climb the rope. After you climb the rope, run north to the lift, click on it, and you'll unlock it. Press yes to climb up. This is going to be a shortcut. This is what you'll be using to return to the puzzle if you die. We've got a couple puzzles ahead. We'll bank later and get those taken care of. Once you're back down, run north, and you're going to come across two puzzle rooms, one on the west and one on the east side. We're going to do the moon room first. Hop down using the portal. Basically, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to control the prince by clicking on these tiles. When you move him to the northern tile, the dark blue flames will disappear. If you move him on to the southern tile, the light blue flames will disappear. You'll also notice that there's a bunch of roots around the room. Click on them and you'll gather some old roots. Use a knife on them and you'll get some kindling. Move the prince to the southern tile to extinguish the light blue flames, then gather more roots. What you're going to want to do is move your way to the statue, gather as many roots as you can, turn them into kindling, and to maneuver through the room, just keep moving the prince from tile to tile. I'd say gather around 12 to 16 roots total, fletch them all, and then get to the moon statue. To solve this puzzle, you're going to have to look at the braziers all around the room. Some are lit, some are not. What you're going to have to do is move the prince back and forth to find the total amount of lit braziers. You need to add those numbers together. You're going to have to deposit that amount of kindling into the statue to solve the puzzle. You're going to want to move your camera around. Some of those braziers, depending on your camera position, can be hidden by the walls. So just make sure that you add the correct amount. If you mess up, all that will happen is that you'll take just a little bit of damage. So for example, the prince is currently on the northern side and I count 1, 2, 3 braziers. I move him to the southern side and you can count 3 more braziers, which added together equals a total of 6, which means we'll need 6 kindling to offer to the statue. Doing this quest unguided, I was trying to figure it out, so I only have 5 more kindling. I offer that to the statue, and at least we get a little example of what happens if you mess up. Ironically, I get damaged for the exact amount that I needed. I don't know if that's a little bit of a puzzle key, but if you're in my situation where you run out of kindling, no worries, there's going to be more root spawns throughout the room. Move the prince around, gather some more, fletch until you feel like you have enough, and then return back to the statue. Back at the statue, on the dark blue side, we have 1, 2, 3. On the light side, we've got 1, 2, 3, meaning that the answer is 6 again. Click on the statue, type out the number, and if you get it correct, a positive charm will sound. Repeat this until the puzzle is solved. When the puzzle is solved, all the flames in the room will go out, and you can move on to the next room. Nice. With this puzzle solved, exit the room by returning to the moon portal so you can cross to the eastern side and do the sun puzzle. When you enter the room, you're going to see 8 altars. When you click on the statue, it's going to give you a code on which altar you need to go to. The first word is where you'll be needing to send the prince, and then the first part of the second word is where you'll need to stand. Start by searching one of the several urns around the room to grab some Kuhu essence. For us, our first word is Uwe, which is number 8, and then for our second word is Naui, which is where our position is going to be. Right-click on the prince and select Move. Number 8 is the most northern altar, and number 4 is the most southern. Once you're in the right position, use the essence on the altar. If you do it correctly, flames will rise up and hit the statue in the center. Then you just have to do this a couple more times. The puzzle is different for everybody, so just follow the words on the chart, reference the key, and I'll see you when you're done. Next key phrase for us is Oma and Chucky. That means I'm going to be at Chucky, which is 6. She's going to be the furthest west, and the prince is going to be all the way to the right or furthest east. Let's grab a couple more essence, and then check the next key, Koma and Kuli. First option is Koma, which means the prince is going to be to the northwest, and I'm going to be to the southwest. And with that puzzle finished, use the sun tile on the floor to teleport back up to the platform and run north to the next room. Once you get to the door, talk to the prince. You guys talk about what you think might be on the other side of the door. You come to a conclusion that there's only one way to find out, and that you both should step on the platforms and unlock the door. After the conversation, just click on the door. Click to continue. You both will stomp on the platforms and the door will open. Click on the door and enter the chamber. Before you continue, this will be the perfect time to restore your stats, gather up some food, just leave a couple inventory slots open, and I'll see you when you get back here. I tried to attempt it blindly with the current inventory that I had, but I had to emergency tally out, so while you are restocking your food, or if you're ready to go already, I'll explain some of the fighting mechanics. During the fight, Metzli will swap between attacking with range or mage. So when she's red, pray range. When she's blue, pray mage. If you've ever done Raids 3, this next attack is very similar to Zabak's wall attack. Walls will spawn, and you just have to step into the gap to avoid them. Pretty easy. She'll spawn one on each side, and it'll either be fire or water, depending on which attack style she's in. There is also a second variant to this attack. She will spawn these portals on the ground and the walls on both sides. You just have to time stepping onto the portals to dodge the wave. She sometimes does this attack simultaneously with another wave attack. You just gotta look out and try to time it properly. She also does this mage attack that you've experienced in a former battle, where she spawns a safe spot, shoots a water orb at you. You just gotta run to the safe spots, pray the correct prayer. If you don't reach the safe spot in time, the orb will hit you and turn off your prayers. Just make sure to turn your prayer back on and continue the fight. Another familiar attack from an earlier battle. When she's in her ranged phase, she will spawn some rings. Just step on the tiles where the rings are, and that'll be the safe spot for that attack. Be careful to not get caught, because she does this attack twice in a row. And finally, when you get her health to 10%, she goes into a raged phase where she splits the room into 4 quadrants and puts teleports on each side. You just gotta run to the teleport to dodge the attacks, but as you're running through the teleport, you've got to attack her in each quadrant. You only have a small amount of time to do so. So let me show you a little bit of example once I figure that out here. She'll do this endlessly until you kill her. Here we are. You teleport, attack, teleport, and attack. I'll loop this section a little bit just so that you can familiarize yourself with it and prepare for the fight. This fight is actually very fast-paced, very fun. I enjoyed it. If you're familiar with the game's general attack patterns, you should be able to get it with no problem. If you're a little bit rusty or, not that experienced, it might give you a little bit of trouble and it might take a couple tries. Either way, you'll get it. Other than that, once you're ready, we can begin. Real quick, if you're returning from getting your stats replenished and resupplying, whenever you're ready, teleport to Fortis and use the Quetzal to go to Tal Teclin. Run all the way to the east and keep running east until you get to the middle of the rainforest, and you're going to find the lift there, which was the green platform that we unlocked earlier. Keep going east and you'll see the platform there. Click to use the lift and it'll take you down to the dungeon. Once you're down here, run north and you'll see the door that you unlocked earlier with the prince. Click to pass through the door. Once you enter the room, keep running north, and when you enter the room, the cutscene will start. As you enter, both you and the prince confront Metzli, saying that there's nowhere else to run. She'll say who's running, that she's where she's supposed to be, and that she's finally completed her goal. The prince basically gaslights her and tells her that she's just in a bunch of old ruins, and that she's failed, and her final dawn has failed as well. She admits that there never was a final dawn, and that there will never be a final dawn, and that she basically lied to all the emissaries. You ask why she lied. She says simply because they let her. The prince accuses her of being mad, and she says of course that she's mad, and that insanity is the only way one can ever walk the path. She says, here today I will shatter the foundations that the sane never question, that she will uncover the realities that they shy away from, and in her madness, she will finally deliver that which the world has forgotten. She then transforms and says, time to finish this. Prepare to fight, and good luck. Congratulations, you just defeated Metzli. You basically tell her to stop, she says she'll never stop, she shoots you back, and then runs further into the temple. Okay, we are almost done with this quest. Let's go down the western stairs. Down there, you'll find a skeleton. Search it to retrieve an old tablet. Run back up the stairs. Run north, traveling over these pillars. Keep running north, and you'll find a door. Go through the door, and you'll have the second to last cutscene. You walk into the archive and notice that there is nothing in here. Metzli, of course, is in shock. If you read the tablets, you'll see that the archive was unfinished. They were trying to build this massive archive with a complete wealth of knowledge on the old ones. But then they awoke something very dangerous that ended up killing all of them. Before leaving, you tell the prince you're going to stay and look around. You'll end up in the room just before the temple. Search the skeleton for the final tablet. This tells you what happened. Inspect the statue on the left, which reads Ralos. And now inspect the statue on the right, which reads Renewal. Click on both of the tablets. You can click on them and then exit them out. It's up to you. Finally, there's one last step. You just gotta click on the doorway. When you do, you hear a horrifying screeching sound coming from the doorway, deciding that it's probably best not to go in there yet. You find the queen, the prince, and Captain Vibia, and you update the queen on what happened. The queen says that she's going to have to kill Furia, and the prince butts in saying that they shouldn't make any more martyrs today, and that it might rile up other emissaries who oppose the kingdom. The queen is very impressed with the prince, and says that he's going to make a great king, and the queen decides to return back to the palace. The prince asks if you find anything of note. You tell him that Metzli was right in a way, that there was meant to be an archive, but something inside killed all of the workers. Since you risked your life to save the prince, he decides to give you a family heirloom, which is his sword. You try to refuse, but he highly insists, saying that it was his grandfather's, but he believes that the sword's path lies with you, and that he can't think of anyone more deserving of it. You take the sword, and congratulations! You've just completed the final dawn. You're awarded 3 quest points, the Arkan Blade, access to Mokhaiotl, 55,000 combat experience in the form of a lamp, 55,000 thieving XP, 25,000 fletching XP, and 25,000 rune crafting XP. Another glorious quest completed. The sword is actually really cool. It's like a poor man's Voidwaker. For this lamp, you know we gotta do it. We gotta throw that on prayer. Shit's expensive right now. Absolutely. Glorious. Well, that was my quest guide. I hope it was fun. I really enjoyed this quest, and yeah, I'm gonna go test out this sword, and I'll see you on the next one.